Hey Aries, I need to talk to you about something that came up in this reading, and honestly, this energy is wild. Someone close to this person has been feeding them completely wrong information about you. And the situation that's unfolding is absolutely fascinating. I pulled cards today specifically about this dynamic, and what I'm seeing is just incredible. So let me start by saying this. Reading is about someone in your life who's been receiving some seriously misguided advice about you from people around them. And Aries, the way this is playing out is something you need to understand because it's affecting how they're seeing you and how they're making decisions. The first card I pulled is Justice, and right away I'm getting this strong sense of truth coming to light. This card is telling me that there's been a massive imbalance in how you've been portrayed to this person. Someone, maybe multiple people, have been painting you in a certain way that doesn't match reality at all. Justice here is showing me that the universe is already working to correct this distortion. There's this energy of the scales tipping back to center, and what's really interesting is that this person is starting to feel it. They're beginning to sense that something doesn't add up with what they've been told versus what they actually know about you deep down. The sword in this card represents cutting through lies and illusions, and I'm seeing that this person is going to have a moment where everything just clicks into place. They're going to realize they've been listening to the wrong voices, and it's going to shake them to their core. This isn't just about them figuring out one small thing. This is about them understanding that their entire perspective has been skewed by people who either don't know you properly or who have their own agendas. The energy here is very much about karmic balance too. So whoever has been spreading these misconceptions is going to face their own reckoning with truth. Now the second card that came out is Nine of Cups, and this is where things get really interesting. This person, despite all the noise around them, despite all the wrong advice they've been getting, there's this deep part of them that feels complete when they think about you. The Nine of Cups is about emotional fulfillment and satisfaction. And I'm seeing that on some level they know that what they have with you or what you represent to them is exactly what they've been wishing for. But here's the conflict. They're being told by others that you're not right for them, that you're going to hurt them, that you're this or that. And yet when they're alone with their thoughts, when they tune into their own feelings rather than everyone else's opinions, they feel this sense of rightness about you. It's like they're sitting there with this cup full of everything they've ever wanted emotionally, but people are telling them to pour it out. The confusion this is creating in their mind is intense. They're experiencing this internal battle between what their heart is telling them and what their social circle or family or whoever is advising them. And Aries, the Nine of Cups doesn't lie about emotional truth. This card is showing me that their genuine feelings for you are strong and positive, which makes the outside interference even more frustrating for them to deal with. The third card is the Moon, and okay, this is where I'm seeing the psychological toll all of this is taking on this person. The Moon represents illusion, confusion, and not being able to see clearly. This person is literally losing their ability to trust their own judgment because they're being pulled in so many different directions. They're questioning everything. They lie awake at night going over conversations, analyzing your interactions, trying to figure out if what they're being told about you is true or if their own instincts are correct. The Moon is also about fear and anxiety, and I'm picking up that this person is genuinely scared. They're scared of making the wrong choice, scared of getting hurt, scared of disappointing the people who are giving them this advice. But there's also a deeper fear that they're going to lose something real with you because they listen to people who don't actually understand the situation. The imagery of the Moon reflecting light rather than generating it is so relevant here because this person isn't seeing you clearly. They're seeing a reflection that's been distorted by other people's perspectives and projections. They're in this fog where they can't distinguish between genuine intuition and manufactured doubt. Card number 4 is Knight of Pentacles, and this is showing me who one of these advisors might be. This is likely someone who appears very practical, very grounded, maybe someone older or someone who presents themselves as having their life together financially or materially. This person has been giving advice that sounds reasonable on the surface. They're probably saying things like you need to be practical, you need to think about stability, you need to consider the long-term logistics. And while that kind of advice isn't inherently bad, the problem is this Knight of Pentacles energy is missing the entire emotional and spiritual component of the connection. They're looking at everything through such a narrow material lens that they're completely blind to the deeper value of what's actually happening between you and this person. This advisor might be someone who's never taken a risk and loved themselves. Someone who's chosen security over passion their whole life. And now they're projecting their own regrets and fears onto this situation. The Knight of Pentacles can be incredibly stubborn too, so once they've formed an opinion about you, they're not easily swayed. They've dug their heels in and they keep reinforcing their perspective every chance they get. The fifth card I drew is Three of Pentacles. And this is giving me information about collaboration and team dynamics that's really revealing. This card usually represents people working together harmoniously, but in this context I'm seeing it as multiple people ganging up with their opinions. It's not just one person giving bad advice, it's like there's been this group discussion or multiple conversations happening where people are building on each other's misconceptions about you. Someone says one thing, another person adds to it, someone else throws in their 2 cents. And before you know it, there's this whole narrative that's been constructed that has very little basis in reality. The Three of Pentacles can also represent seeking counsel, and this person has definitely been doing that. But they've been going to the wrong architects for building their understanding of this situation. What's particularly frustrating about this energy is that these people probably think they're being helpful. They genuinely believe they're protecting your person or guiding them correctly. But they're actually creating more confusion and potentially destroying something that could be really good. Card 6 is Ace of Swords, and finally we're getting to the breakthrough moment. The Ace of Swords is about mental clarity, truth, and cutting through all the nonsense. This card is telling me that there's going to be a moment of absolute crystal clear understanding for this person. It's like a lightning bolt of realization where suddenly all the fog clears and they see the situation for exactly what it is. They're going to understand that they've been manipulated, however unintentionally, by people who don't have the full picture. The Ace of Swords brings truth that cannot be denied, and when this hits them it's going to be powerful. I'm seeing them having this moment where they go back through everything that's happened and they're going to see the patterns of how they've been influenced. They're going to recognize the bias in the advice they received. And Aries, this is going to change everything for them. The sword cuts both ways though. So while this clarity is going to be liberating in one sense, it's also going to be painful because they're going to realize how much time and energy they've wasted doubting something real because they were listening to people who were speaking from their own limitations and fears, rather than from any actual knowledge of you or your connection. The seventh card is Knight of Wands, and this represents a complete shift in energy that's coming. After that Ace of Swords moment of clarity, this person is going to move into action mode. The Knight of Wands is passionate, impulsive, and doesn't wait around. Where they've been hesitant and confused, they're going to suddenly become decisive and driven. This is the energy of someone who's done overthinking and is ready to follow their actual desires rather than everyone else's roadmap. I'm seeing them potentially cutting off or setting boundaries with the people who've been feeding them these false narratives about you. They're going to feel this surge of confidence about what they want, and they're not going to care as much about outside approval anymore. The Knight of Wands can also indicate travel or movement, so there might be some literal or metaphorical distance they create from their advisors so they can think clearly and act on their own truth. This is someone who's been held back finally breaking free and moving toward what they actually want. Card 8 is the Magician, and wow. This is such a powerful card for manifestation and taking control. After everything this person has been through with all the confusion and bad advice, they're going to step into their own power. The Magician represents having all the tools you need and knowing how to use them. This person is going to realize that they don't need anyone else to tell them what's right for their life. They have their own wisdom, their own intuition, their own ability to create the reality they want. I'm seeing them taking back control of their narrative and their choices. The Magician is also about communication and using your voice effectively. So, I wouldn't be surprised if this person speaks up and actually confronts some of the people who've been giving them wrong information about you. They might say, "Hey, I appreciate that you care about me, but you don't actually know this person or this situation the way I do." The confidence coming through with this card is really beautiful to see because it shows genuine growth and self-actualization coming out of this difficult period. The ninth card is Six of Wands, and this is showing me victory and public recognition. After all the struggle and confusion, there's going to be this moment where the truth is vindicated in some visible way. The Six of Wands often represents someone being celebrated or proven right. And I'm seeing that the real nature of your character and your connection with this person is going to be demonstrated in a way that others can see. Maybe you accomplish something, maybe the relationship proves itself through longevity or the way you support each other. Maybe circumstances unfold that show everyone who doubted you that they were completely wrong. This card has this energy of triumph not just privately but publicly. So the same people who were whispering doubts and giving bad advice are going to have to witness the reality of the situation being totally different from what they predicted. There's also this aspect of this person feeling proud to be connected to you in whatever way you're connected. Whether that's romantically, as friends, as business partners. Whatever the nature of the relationship is, they're going to reach a point where they're not hiding or downplaying the connection anymore because of what others think. And the final card, number 10, is Wheel of Fortune, and this is telling me that this entire situation is part of a much bigger cycle and divine timing. Everything that's happened, including all the wrong advice and confusion, was actually necessary for this person's growth and for the relationship to evolve to where it needs to be. The Wheel of Fortune reminds us that what goes down must come up and vice versa. There have been some low points in this dynamic because of outside interference, but the wheel is turning and things are shifting into a much more positive phase. This card also speaks to karma and what's meant to be, and I'm getting very strongly that the universe has always intended for this connection to work out in a certain way. The people giving wrong advice were essentially trying to fight against the natural flow of destiny, and you can't actually do that long term. The wheel turns regardless of human interference. There's also an element here of this person understanding that they can't control everything, that they need to surrender to the bigger picture and trust in timing rather than trying to force things based on other people's timelines and expectations. So Aries, let me bring this all together for you. Someone who matters to you has been receiving seriously misguided counsel about you from people in their circle. These advisors either don't know you, don't understand the depth of the connection, or are projecting their own fears and limitations onto the situation. This has created massive confusion for this person, and honestly, they've been struggling mentally and emotionally trying to reconcile what they're being told with what they actually feel and know to be true about you. But here's what's beautiful about this reading. The truth is already in motion. Justice is being served, clarity is coming through like a sword cutting through fog, and this person is moving toward a place where they trust themselves more than they trust outside opinions. They're going to have breakthrough moments where everything makes sense and they're going to realize they've been led astray. And the ultimate outcome is really positive, showing victory, vindication, and the natural order of things asserting itself despite all attempts to interfere with it. The people who gave wrong advice are going to be proven wrong, and this person is stepping into their own power and agency in a major way. This is ultimately a story about someone finding their way back to their own truth after being temporarily lost in other people's projections and fears.